Have you ever been fast asleep, dreaming sweet dreams, and then suddenly woken up by a clamp-like cramp in your calf or foot? I know I have, and I bet many of you have too. That awful feeling when your muscle suddenly seizes up, painfully tight, making you jump out of bed to rub it, stretch it every which way. Most of the time, these leg cramps are just, well, normal cramps, nothing to worry about. Maybe you're a little dehydrated, or perhaps you overdid it a bit the day before, walked more than usual, or spent a bit too long in the garden. Sometimes it's simply a tired muscle after a long day. We usually know how to deal with them, right? Drink a bit more water, do a gentle stretch, maybe just changing your sleeping position is enough to ease the pain and go back to sleep. And the next morning, you might not even remember you had a cramp. But, and this is a pretty important but, especially as we get past 60, sometimes those leg cramps aren't quite so simple. Occasionally, they can be a little signal, a gentle tap on the shoulder from your body, trying to tell you that there's something more significant going on inside. Our bodies are amazing. They have their own ways of letting us know when something's not right, and listening to those signals, especially persistent or unusual ones, is incredibly important. So, in today's video, we're going to explore this topic together. We'll look at what makes a normal cramp normal, and then, more importantly, we'll dive into those key warning signs, I like to call them red flags, that might indicate your leg cramp is pointing to a more serious health issue that needs a doctor's attention. Because recognizing these signs early can make a huge difference. It's not about scaring ourselves, but about empowering ourselves with knowledge to be more proactive in taking care of our own health. We want to keep enjoying life to the fullest, don't we? And to do that, understanding our bodies is essential. Before we get into the specific warning signs, let's talk a little about those common cramps most of us have experienced. As I mentioned, they're often related to muscle use. Maybe you've just started a new exercise routine, or perhaps it's hot weather causing you to sweat more and lose some important minerals like potassium or magnesium. Mild dehydration is also a common culprit. When your body doesn't have enough fluids, your muscles can't function smoothly and are more prone to spasms. Sometimes, certain medications we're taking can also have leg cramps as a side effect. These are all pretty common, and usually not a sign of a major health problem. Dealing with these kinds of cramps is usually pretty straightforward too. When a cramp hits, the first thing we often do is try to gently stretch the cramped muscle. For instance, if it's in your calf, you can sit down, extend your leg, and gently pull your toes towards you. Or stand up and put a little weight on the cramped leg. Gently massaging the painful muscle can also help soothe the spasm. Staying well hydrated throughout the day, especially if you're active or it's hot, is also an effective preventive measure. Making sure your diet includes enough essential minerals is important too. Bananas, sweet potatoes, and spinach are good sources of potassium and magnesium. However, what we really want to focus on today is when a leg cramp is no longer just a leg cramp. When is it a signal that makes us stop and think, hold on, something's different here? This is where those red flags come in. One of the first red flags to watch out for is a change in the frequency, intensity, or nature of your cramps. For example, if you used to get cramps only occasionally, but now they're happening every night or multiple times a day, that's a significant change. Or if the cramps suddenly become much more severe than before, so painful you can hardly bear it, or if they last much longer. Maybe they used to last just a few seconds or a minute, but now they go on for 5, 10 minutes, or even longer, and especially if you've tried all the usual remedies like stretching and drinking water, but the cramps just don't get better or they keep coming back stubbornly, that's definitely a time to pay closer attention. Your body is trying to tell you something. Another important red flag is when the cramp is accompanied by other symptoms in your leg. This is extremely important. For instance, do you notice any swelling in the area where you get the cramp? Is the skin in that area reddish? Or does it feel warmer to the touch compared to other areas or to your other leg? Signs like swelling, redness, and warmth can be signals of inflammation or even a blood clot, which is something we definitely don't want to ignore. Imagine your leg not just hurting from a muscle spasm, but also looking and feeling inflamed. That's no longer a simple cramp. This is when we need to listen very carefully. If you see your leg, especially one leg, suddenly become swollen, red, and warm, accompanied by pain or cramping, don't hesitate to contact your doctor right away. Another sign to be aware of is if the cramp occurs when you're walking or exercising, and the pain forces you to stop. Then, after a little rest, the pain subsides, only to return when you start moving again. This type of cramp, often described as a tightening or squeezing pain in the calf, thigh, or buttock during activity, can be a sign of peripheral artery disease, or PAD. This is a condition where the arteries that supply blood to your legs become narrowed, reducing blood flow to the muscles. When we exercise, our muscles need more oxygen, but if the blood can't get there sufficiently, they protest by causing pain and cramps. This isn't something you can fix by drinking more water or eating more bananas. It needs to be diagnosed and properly treated by a doctor. So, we've talked about common cramps and started looking at the first signs that a cramp might not be common anymore, especially when it changes in nature or is accompanied by swelling, redness, warmth, or occurs in a very specific pattern with activity. These are important signals your body sends, and recognizing them early can help us find the root cause and get timely treatment. And understanding that pain or cramping that comes on with activity and eases with rest could be an important sign related to your circulation is a very important step. But that's not all we need to be on the lookout for. There are other types of cramps, other red flags our bodies might raise, signaling that we need to investigate further. Another thing to pay close attention to is when these cramps come with a feeling of weakness in your leg, or numbness, tingling, or a pins and needles sensation. This isn't just a tight muscle anymore. If you find your leg not only hurts from the cramp, but also feels weak, difficult to lift, or if you have areas of skin that are numb or have lost sensation, that could be a sign that your nerves are having trouble. Nerves are like the body's telephone lines. They transmit signals from the brain and spinal cord to the muscles and back again. When these lines are damaged or compressed, they can send out faulty signals, causing pain, cramps, numbness, or muscle weakness. One of the common causes of nerve damage, especially in older adults, is diabetes. Poorly controlled diabetes can lead to a condition called diabetic peripheral neuropathy. Persistently high blood sugar can damage the small nerves, often in the feet and lower legs first. This not only causes pain and cramps, but can also lead to a loss of sensation in your feet, making you prone to injuries you might not even realize you have. So, if you have diabetes and start experiencing cramps, along with numbness, tingling, or a burning sensation in your legs, please talk to your doctor. They may need to adjust your diabetes treatment plan or suggest other measures to protect your nerves. Another condition that can compress nerves and lead to cramps, numbness, or weakness in the legs is spinal stenosis. You can picture our spine as a protective tube around the spinal cord. As we age, the vertebrae and discs can degenerate, and this spinal canal can narrow. This narrowing can put pressure on the spinal cord or the nerve roots that branch off from it to control leg function. Pain or cramps from spinal stenosis often get worse when standing or walking for a long time, and may improve when you sit down or lean forward. This posture helps to slightly open up the space in the spinal canal. If you find yourself getting cramps or back pain that radiates down your leg, and the pain eases when you sit or lean on a shopping cart at the grocery store, for example, that could be a clue. This is also something that needs a doctor's evaluation. And of course, if you suddenly experience severe weakness or paralysis in one or both legs, with or without cramping, that's an emergency. Don't wait to see if it goes away on its own. Sudden weakness can be a sign of many serious problems, including a stroke or acute spinal issues. In such cases, time is critical. Call for emergency help or go to the emergency room immediately. Next, another red flag is when your cramps just don't seem to get better, no matter what common remedies you try. You've been drinking plenty of water, you've tried stretching, you've made an effort to get enough magnesium and potassium in your diet, but the cramps keep plaguing you, especially at night, regularly disrupting your sleep. If cramps are severe enough to wake you up night after night and nothing seems to work, that's a sign there might be a deeper underlying cause. Sometimes, issues that don't seem directly related to your legs can cause cramps. For example, kidney disease. Our kidneys play a vital role in balancing electrolytes in our body like sodium, potassium, calcium, and magnesium. When the kidneys aren't working well, this balance can be disrupted, leading to abnormal electrolyte levels in the blood, which can trigger muscle spasms and cramps. If you have a history of kidney disease or other risk factors like high blood pressure or diabetes, and you start getting frequent, persistent cramps, let your doctor know. Similarly, thyroid problems can also be a culprit. The thyroid is a small gland in your neck, but it controls a lot of metabolic processes in your body. Both an overactive thyroid, hyperthyroidism, and an underactive thyroid, hypothyroidism, can cause muscle problems, including cramps. Other symptoms of thyroid disease can be very diverse, from weight changes and fatigue to mood swings and skin or hair problems. If your cramps are accompanied by any of these symptoms, or if you simply feel something's not right beyond the cramps, getting your thyroid function checked might be a good idea. We also need to pay attention to any changes in skin sensation in the cramped leg area, beyond what we've already discussed about swelling, redness, or warmth. For example, does the skin on your leg feel unusually cold to the touch, or does it look pale or bluish? This, along with hair loss on your legs or sores that are slow to heal, could be other signs of peripheral artery disease, PAD, that we mentioned, indicating that blood flow to your legs is indeed restricted. Conversely, if you constantly feel a burning sensation, tingling, or like ants crawling on your skin, even when you're not cramping, those are signs that point more towards nerve damage. Sometimes these changes in sensation are subtle enough that we might dismiss them, but they provide important clues. Try to notice, does the sensation in this leg feel different from the other leg, or different from your arm? Comparison can sometimes help us recognize small changes. Recognizing these accompanying signs and symptoms is really key. A solitary, occasional cramp is usually nothing to worry about, but a cramp that brings along uninvited companions like swelling, weakness, numbness, skin changes, or just stubbornly refuses to leave, that's when we need to take it seriously. It's like when your car starts making a strange noise. If it's just a small, fleeting squeak, you might ignore it. But if the noise gets louder, happens repeatedly, or is accompanied by the car shaking, you know you need to get it checked. Our bodies are the same way. Comparing the sensation between your two legs, or between your legs and other parts of your body, can really help us pick up on subtle changes that we might otherwise overlook. Sometimes it's these small details that are the crucial pieces of the puzzle, helping your doctor get a complete picture of your health. One more point I want to mention is the connection between certain medications and cramps. As we said at the beginning, some medications can have cramps as a side effect. However, if you've recently started a new medication, or if the dosage of a medication was recently changed, and then you start experiencing more frequent or severe cramps, it's important to let your doctor know. Never stop or change the dosage of a medication on your own without your doctor's advice. But providing them with this information is crucial. They can consider if there's a connection, and if so, they might suggest an alternative medication or adjust the dosage. Some diuretics, cholesterol-lowering drugs, statins, or certain asthma medications can sometimes be associated with cramps in some people. This doesn't mean you should stop taking these important medications, but rather have an open discussion with your doctor about any side effects you're experiencing. So, we've covered quite a bit of information together, from recognizing a common cramp to understanding the important red flags that could signal a more serious underlying health issue. Let's briefly recap the main signs we need to look out for when we get leg cramps, especially after age 60. It's when the cramp is accompanied by swelling, redness, or a warm feeling in the cramped area. It's when you feel weakness in your leg, numbness, or that pins and needles sensation. It's when the cramp regularly occurs when you walk or exercise and improves with rest, or when the cramps become more frequent, more intense, last longer, and don't get better even when you try the usual remedies. And also, don't forget to pay attention to changes in skin color or temperature in your legs, or if cramps appear after you start a new medication. The purpose of sharing all this information isn't to make you worry every time you get a cramp. Not at all. As we've said, most cramps are just cramps. But the goal is to equip you with knowledge so you can become a more observant guardian of your own body. Our bodies are wonderful, and they often send us signals. Our job is to learn to listen and understand those signals. I know that facing potential health issues can be scary, but ignoring warning signs is far scarier. Early detection and timely treatment always lead to better outcomes. So, if any of the red flags we've discussed today sound familiar, if something I've said makes you think, that sounds like me, then I truly encourage you to talk to your doctor. Describe in detail what you're experiencing. Don't be afraid to ask questions. Your doctor is your most important partner in your healthcare, and they are there to help. Remember, taking care of yourself is never selfish. It's essential. And as we reach a certain age, it becomes even more important. You deserve to live a healthy, active life, free from unnecessary pain. Sometimes, just one conversation with your doctor can bring immense peace of mind or open up an effective treatment path you didn't expect. We can't turn back time, but we absolutely can control how we face health challenges now and in the future. By arming ourselves with knowledge, listening to our bodies, and proactively seeking help when needed, we're doing the best we can for ourselves. And that's a message full of hope and empowerment. I hope you found the information in this video helpful. If you found it valuable, please don't hesitate to share it with friends or family members who you think might also benefit from hearing this. And if you have any personal experiences with leg cramps that you'd like to share or any questions, please leave a comment below. I love reading your shares and feedback. Don't forget to hit the like button if you found this video helpful, and if you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss out on future videos with helpful content for our health and lives. Thank you for taking the time to listen. Remember, every day is an opportunity to take better care of ourselves, live well, stay healthy, and always listen to what your body is telling you. All the best to you, and I'll see you in the next video.